Our reporter Mteto has been at the investment conference in Sandton. She showed us earlier the taxi, showing us about moves into the digital age, some of the exciting ventures that are being showcased there, essentially. Good afternoon again to you, Diabo. What's happening on the ground?
Welcome back to the Sandton Convention Center, where the 5th South Africa Investment Conference is currently underway. As I said to you earlier on, one of the big things that happened earlier is that we heard President Cyril Ramaphosa saying that South Africa still remains an attractive investment destination despite the challenges obviously alluding to what we are currently seeing now, sitting on stage 6 of load shedding, and how that is impacting on the economy, and particularly also how that's impacting on small businesses. Earlier on, I did speak to Y Taxi. They are wiring and giving connectivity to commuters in the taxi space. But this time around, I thought that I would get another small business just to get their views on this investment conference and how these investments, if they even trickle down to the smaller businesses and whether they're able to do anything with it. Right now, I'm joined by the founder and CEO of Ntando Thando Group, Ms. Kile Mteto, just to get her views about Ntando Thando Group and your views. Thank you, first of all, thank you and welcome to SABC News. Your views about what the president has said with regards particularly to small businesses and how those need to be supported.
Thank you very much, Diabo, for the invite, and a very good afternoon. Is it good afternoon already?
Good afternoon.
to your viewers at home. I must say that after listening to the president, there is a bit of sense of hope about the possibility and the opportunities that can be provided by this particular investment seminar or conference, if you want to call it that way. For the longest time, I must say that I've been quite despondent when it comes to attending these kind of conferences. Because you come in here, you are like a spectator as a small business. And you come here to listen to big business, talking to themselves and amongst themselves, and also a lot of multinationals. But one would like to see the day that this particular kind of conferences can be able to trickle down to your ordinary SMME and make the changes that it needs to make and make this country to work better.
Yeah, the challenges obviously that are facing the small business sector are massive. And now, just yesterday, just when we were thinking that we could get used to stage 1 of load shedding, we are plunged back in stage 6. You run several things under Thando Group, among them the apparel business where it's the clothing and textile. How is this hampering production?
Actually, it has been very bad. I've had to, first of all, start reducing the staff members because now you find that you've got people that are sitting there not doing any productivity for quite some time. Therefore, we're having a problem because in terms of your lead times to having to deliver to your clients, there is also a problem. So the load shedding has been quite a serious problem for most of us. And it slows down productivity and it increases the cost of doing business because whether the people are there working or not working, you as the employer, you need to pay the people that are actually working. So as it is, there's a serious pain that we are feeling, especially as small businesses, especially because it is not even consistent. You know, you might find yourself having a schedule, but the schedule is not followed. Like you're correctly saying that we've moved all the way from stage 2 and all of a sudden we're now in stage 5. Actually, I've even lost count. I cannot even remember what stage 2 is and what stage 4 and how do they even differentiate amongst all of these stages.
You mentioned something quite salient and important, that at these conferences, small businesses are just spectators and one that help to fill up the seats. This now brings me to think about then when there are announcements of investments, at which point do these investments get into your hand as a small business, and what is the process? Is there a process that filters down to say that such and such a company has made a pledge this much, and with that pledge they've committed to be working with small businesses in this sector? Maybe educate us there.
Look, I don't think one can be able to come to such kind of a conference and maybe expect to close a deal immediately. However, as you know that in business they say it's a dog-eat-dog kind of an environment. So when you come to such conferences, you need to come here with your particular agenda and knowing exactly what is it that you are looking for, what type of partners are you looking for. But if at all possible, you don't just come to the conference and get ready when you're at the conference. You start your work prior to the conference. As we're talking now, we've got a 5-year plan that the president is talking to us about in terms of looking at this kind of investment into South Africa. There's a number of opportunities that are available. So it becomes incumbent on us as business people, especially small business people, to start looking for partnership, to start looking for the opportunities that we can club ourselves together. Because the biggest problem that I have with us as SMMEs is that we want to find ourselves playing in the league of the big boys and the big girls. Meanwhile, we are very small. Instead of collaborating, cooperating, so that we can be able to have the co-productivity that we want.
Yeah.
You know.
If you were to have an audience with one of the big investors that are today making pledges and saying, look, we want to work with your group, what is the value add for them for working with a company such as yours?
The first part is just a part of being a 100% black women owned entity. We are very service oriented as a company, and we are very futuristic. We're running a very small kind of a setup in our company, but we've got a very, very big vision. Like for instance, we would like to look at expanding into the materials, the textile and manufacturing of clothing and all of that. But above all, we're also looking into branching, going into your agricultural space, because there's a lot of opportunities there that are available. So if you can be able to get somebody that can sit down with us, because we've already secured pieces of land in different provinces where we can be able to put together small farmers that are also looking for assistance, and we've got the land rights or the land use rights, so we can be able to work and partner with them and see how is it that we can be able to expand.
What do you feel about the current state of the country economically? That is, I mean, there's quite a lot of despondency. Just yesterday, the IMF slashed our growth outlook, that we've got high interest rates, inflation is high, just generally the cost of living is high. We've just Eskom users have just, absorbing the 18% increase in July. It will be the municipal ones. What, as an entrepreneur, what's your feeling about the state of the economy right now?
Sure. I must say that sometimes one feels like schizophrenic, because every single day, every time you switch on that television, and you are hoping to get some sense of hope, it's always depressing news. But I'm one of those people that choose to see the glass to be half full, therefore means that there is hope. And we also need to bear in mind that we are finding ourselves in this particular trajectory we are in as a country, because some of the problems that we are facing are actually man-made. Look at the issue of corruption, for instance, which has taken a lot of chunk into the depreciation of our economy as we're speaking. There are certain things that are beyond us, like your COVID-19 and all of that. But we live, we move, we forge forwards, and we know that for every growing economy, you need to have the support of your SMMEs. So if we could be able to have government that is actually very supportive of SMMEs, so that at least the SMMEs can strengthen their balance sheets, we can be able to grow this economy. Look, for instance, we've got very good strategies. Your NDPs of South Africa that we've got there, and your different strategic plans that are there in different provinces. We talk about rural and township economic revitalizations, and this is where you can be able to get a lot of developments happening. We cannot afford, to keep on sitting and complaining about the current state of the economy without doing anything about it, because whether we complain or not, it is what it is, and we've got to find ourselves getting ourselves out of this mess that we might have put ourselves in.
Ms. Mteto, thank you so much for your insightful views. I've been speaking to Ms. Kile Mteto. She is the founder and CEO of Thando Group. Getting her views as an entrepreneur, is also a player in the small business is trajectory, just her views on conferences as big as that. She says she's still optimistic that things will work out in the end, but views from small businesses also matter, because they are tipped to be the ones that will create jobs, and the investment definitely does need to trickle down to those small businesses as well. I'll hand over to studio now, but when you do come back to us here in Sandton, we'll be speaking to more role players on their views of this 5th South Africa Investment Conference that's taken live at the SABC News channel.